Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we dig into the systems that shape our world. Today, we're jumping into Marc Goodman's Future Crimes to understand a really critical paradox: how our hyper-connected world, the one built for total convenience, might actually be designed with a fundamental vulnerability right at its core.
I mean, think about it. We all live inside this promise, right? Everything is instant. Everything is fast. We have this amazing sense of control over our lives. From our bank accounts to our social circles, it's all just a tap away, optimized for ease. But here's the catch. What if that constant connection, that incredible convenience we love, comes with a massive hidden cost? What if every single new connection we make is also a brand new point of failure?
And that brings us to the core thesis of Goodman's work. When everything is connected, everyone is vulnerable. Now, that's not just a clever line. It's basically the operating system for our modern digital lives. So let's really break down what that means.
To really get a grip on this, we can't just talk in hypotheticals. We have to look at what's already happened. So let's start with a huge, real-world example: the data breach at TJX, the parent company of stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Just look at this number: over 45 million. That's the number of customer credit and debit card details that hackers stole way back in 2007. The scale is it's mind-boggling, and it's a perfect example of how one single weak spot can lead to absolutely massive consequences.
As Goodman lays out in Future Crimes, disasters like the TJX hack aren't just isolated accidents or bad luck. Nope. They are symptoms of a much bigger, systemic problem. A global system where our most sensitive personal data is being held in databases that are inherently insecure. So the big question is, why does this keep happening? Well, to understand that, you have to follow the money, because there's a really powerful economic engine driving all of this. In fact, you could say there are two economies, running side by side, and they both burn the exact same fuel.
This is where it gets really interesting. On one side, you have the legitimate public-facing surveillance economy. That's where big companies make money by collecting our data for ads and analytics. But on the other side, you've got this shadow economy, Crime Inc., which profits by stealing that very same data. For both of them, our personal information is the product. As Goodman says, data is the new oil.
And make no mistake, Crime Inc. has become incredibly professional. It now runs on a model that experts call crime as a service. You don't even have to be a brilliant hacker anymore. You can literally just go online to the dark web and buy or rent all the tools you need. It makes cybercrime accessible to pretty much anyone.
Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial point. Our digital world isn't insecure because of a simple bug or an accident. It's the totally logical outcome of a system where the incentives are just completely misaligned. Which leads us to ask this critical question: why is the technological foundation of our entire society, the code that runs basically everything, why is it so consistently, so predictably breakable?
Well, it all boils down to incentives. Everyone's playing a different game. Companies get rewarded for speed and for getting products out the door, not for making them secure. For us, the users, we get awesome, convenient services for free by trading away our data. For criminals, it's a paradise, high reward, incredibly low risk. And law enforcement, they're constantly playing catch-up, stuck with outdated laws in a totally borderless world.
Goodman offers this really powerful metaphor to help us see it. Our digital world is like a city built with thousands, maybe millions, of doors, but almost no locks. Every new app, every new device, every new account is just another potential unlocked door. We've built this amazing civilization that's optimized for access, not for protection.
And here's the really scary part. This problem isn't static. It's not just staying the same. It is accelerating. Goodman warns we are speeding towards a point he calls the crime singularity.
So what is the crime singularity? It's that terrifying tipping point where the technology used by criminals permanently outpaces our ability to defend against it. It's the moment when the gap between the attackers and the defenders just starts to grow exponentially and never closes. And that gap is widening because the attack surface, all the things that can be hacked, is just exploding. First it was our computers, then it was our phones, putting a tracking device in everyone's pocket. Then it moved to critical infrastructure, power grids, financial markets. And now with the Internet of Things, it's literally everything. Our cars, our homes, even our medical implants. Every one of them is becoming a potential target.
So this brings us to the whole point. To have any hope of solving this, we first have to see it clearly. We have to change our perception, stop looking at these as individual events, and start seeing the entire system that produces them. And this is the key takeaway, the big shift in thinking. Cyber attacks aren't just random bits of bad luck. They are a predictable, structural feature of the very economy we've built, an economy that rewards insecure interconnection and data collection above all else.
And that reframes the whole problem, doesn't it? Once you see the system, the incentives, the economics, you realize that our constant vulnerability looks a lot less like bad luck and a whole lot more like an intentional design outcome.
Here at Crisis in Perception, we examine how these huge systems shape what we believe, and how having better mental tools can help us all see the world a little more clearly. We make this project free and accessible to everyone, so if you'd like to support the time, tools, and research that go into making these explainers, you can become a supporter on Patreon. Every bit helps.
And if you want to go even further on this topic, check out the link in the description for a longer audio-based analysis.
And finally, if this is your kind of thing, this systems-level analysis, please do us a huge favor and like, subscribe, and maybe drop a comment with any books or topics you'd like to see us explore next. Thanks so much for watching.